You are listening to Thunderbolt Sports Talk. Here are your hosts, Charlie Adams and Timothy Yee.
Welcome to episode number 5 of season 2 of Thunderbolt Sports Talk. We are back and better than ever. It's time to resume the action here, coming off of a good episode 4, and our sports seasons have wound down pretty much, but there's still things to talk about. Of course, we're bringing you this episode here live from our normal location in Cranston East, right off of Mr. LeBanca's room. I'm Charlie Adams and joined by Tim Yeen, as always. How you doing, Tim?
Doing great, Chaz. First of all, happy March. We made it. There's only March, April, May.
Yep.
Do we have to stay June or?
No.
No. So March, April, May, and then we're done here at Cranston East, which is kind of crazy to say, considering how long we've been here. But yeah, we took the week off last week because it was February vacation. We didn't really feel like, doing all that. We didn't really, feel like getting on that grind again. I feel like the Miles Darconti episode was special enough. And by the way, Miles Darconti and company, a 2-0 win over Central High School. They are advancing to the semifinals now. They're going to be playing at Any Tech versus Chariho on March 2nd, a.k.a. this Saturday, a.k.a. tomorrow. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Coach Mr. Danforth. Congratulations to Miles. Congratulations to Justin Mazenalier, who I've been getting the wrong spelling all season. It was like an R instead of the N. And congrats to everyone on that Mario Kart team. They've really put in the hard work, and they've really done a good job representing our school. And then on Tuesday, our Rocket League team got eliminated 4-0. So they're out the playoffs now. It was a bit of like a 500 record all season, I think. Didn't really rack up too many. It was comfortably mid enough to make the playoffs. So that's really it. Yeah, they fell 4-0 to Pond against it. And that's really all the sports or the esports that we have to talk about.
Yeah, ran down the seasons and esports, the last team alive, and maybe you can't really argue with it that much that Mr. Danforth is looking like an early Coach of the Year candidate for Cranston East. I mean, they're really putting esports on the map as perhaps the premier sport here at Cranston High School East.
Yeah, maybe the main reason to come to Cranston East is our illustrious esports program. The Rocket League team could use a little bit of work. I mean, I know the Super Smash Bros. Team is always looking for some new people. I mean, Jazz, I know you're a fan at it, but unfortunately didn't help out the team this year. So they are always needing new talent. I mean, hopefully enough we get some more, esports into there. Some 2K, some Madden.
Yeah, there's definitely room to grow for esports. I know 2K was actually in there as a playable sport, just not as a real sport that has like a championship, but I believe the RIL was allowing people to sign up and maybe even play other schools in 2K games. I was kind of hoping for it to be like a 5-on-5. But it looks like it's just 1v1 play now.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So
I thought it'd be like 5v5, like actual basketball.
And it would be fun.
And I guess if like a team didn't have enough players, would like the CPU take over or?
Yeah, I mean, they do have like the Pro-Am game mode where you can play in the park with your My Player, or you could play like 5-on-5 with your own NBA team and stuff. So there's definitely options, and maybe it's something to do later on. But for now, it looks like they'll stick with their sports. There's also a League of Legends team that we don't have, but it's an option from some schools. It doesn't seem like a popular one.
Yeah, not here at Cranston East. Unfortunately, we're not known for our League of Legends program. Also, we're not known for any people that play League of Legends. Do you know anybody?
Nope.
So that just shows you, the viewers, how much we're not really, doing League of Legends, no matter the stench.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe they could put Tekken in there, and then maybe you'd be more interested. I know you're a big fan of that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on in video games right now.
Yeah.
WWE, MLB, both dropping within like a week of each other.
Yeah.
Two of the big sports game companies dropping back-to-back with 2K and San Diego Studios, and
Seems
coming
like
off of all right years.
Yeah, it seems like a hot game for video games this year. I mean, I'm hearing a lot about Helldivers too.
Yeah. Seen my brother playing it.
Yeah. Does it look good?
I mean, I guess it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a PlayStation exclusive, so.
Oh, PS exclusive, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I'm
All
stuck
right.
on Xbox, but
Ha!
I'm perfectly fine with it. It seems like Cranston's really the. All right, buddy. Seems like Cranston's really the main Xbox city in the entire United States when everyone else seems to use PlayStation. But Cranston, heavy community on Xbox. I don't know why. I don't know what advertising Xbox was doing. Microsoft might have targeted our city, but they did a good job at it because everyone seems to be on Xbox except you.
I don't know. I mean, the Chens are on PlayStation. Cam Felici had a PlayStation. I mean, he's on PC now, but he has a PlayStation. Or I don't even know if he has one anymore. I mean, he might have sold it off, but yeah, I feel like it's just the Chaz, the friend group.
I don't know. I mean,
have you
there seems to be always something happening.
Are you
on
like connected
Xbox.
to like the entire Cranston community to understand that?
I mean, I've done a poll similar to the poll that I did during our student versus faculty game.
Okay, so fraudulent. Okay, let's talk about actual sports now. Especially the one from 2 weeks ago, our student versus faculty basketball game. If you haven't seen it, the teachers once again put on a show. The students were given the opportunity to come back with a
Insane rule change.
insane rule change, but a necessary one because they were getting walloped second and third quarter. Chaz. I mean, the first quarter they were looking pretty decent, but
They came out with the lead. The replay is available on the Fans Only Sports Network with me and our producer who doesn't seem to know how to find his way to this room today.
I mean,
Ashton Allison on the call.
We were told he set an alarm for your game, which you'll be covering later.
We'll get into the RIIL Division I playoffs a little later for hockey.
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't plan on setting his alarm for actually going to his academic need.
Yeah, well, I guess some people don't have their priorities straight. We'll see where that gets him going forward. But, for that student versus faculty game, last year, different group of seniors, same result. There was actually a closer game last year, and
Was
they
that
matched
rule
their
change?
performance.
Was that rule change in place last year too?
No, I don't. I think they might have been but I don't remember what the fourth quarter was like. I believe it might have been running clock the whole time.
Running clock.
I don't know if it was half the quarter like it was here on our version of the game. I mean, it was running clock the whole time.
Yeah.
But for that fourth quarter, I'm not exactly sure. I know this year it was a 4-minute fourth quarter, and they said every single point that the students score counts for 3, and they still couldn't bring it back. They were also shooting a ton of threes with this new rule in place. Free throws turned out to be also worth 3 points, which I thought might have hurt them, and I thought they were going to take a while and it would count for 1 point. They were counting for 3, so somebody got a 6-point free throw, which was pretty good, and they couldn't get it done. Another disappointing year.
Yeah. Now that we have 2 teams, it just brings up the conversation of which teacher or student team was better. This does bring up the question, Chaz. Out of you've seen both the teacher teams. Which one do you think had the better performance?
I think it was definitely this year's team. They had more talent going in, and they had more talent going out, minus Mr. Masterson's half a tooth, which
That was talent, breaking out.
I don't know about breaking out. I think that was stupidity breaking out. You're playing in a teachers versus students game, and you're going full out for a loose ball that probably was going out of bounds.
Are you not proud of the dedication effort being shown there, Chaz?
Hey, I mean, I'd be proud, but you could have done it a little more gracefully. Hopefully that's fixed for next year. We'll see.
That's the rough basketball that we miss here today, Chaz. I mean, you see the NBA, they're looking into, whether the game has become too favored on the offense, some recent news. And then you see Mr. Masterson just going straight out for the ball, showing that dedication, showing that energy that the NBA so desperately needs, especially, on All-Star Weekend too, where they weren't showing much effort. And everyone was complaining, and everything sucked. Besides the three-point contest, maybe the dunk contest. I mean,
the most popular event turned out to be, or at least the most entertaining one, turned out to be Sabrina versus Curry, and that was a good show.
yeah.
I think Ionescu put on a great performance. It would have been good enough to win the men's or the real three-point contest that Damian Lillard brought home.
Yeah, shooting from NBA range too, so that's like even more impressive.
I mean, you'll still get the critics who say that they were shooting from they were shooting with WNBA basketballs, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You really expect somebody to go out there and shoot with a ball that they don't use and do anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
You pick up a girl's ball if you're used to playing with a men's ball, and it's not going to go well. It's not the best complaint, but I think it was a great showing.
It's definitely my reason in gym class. That ball is just a little bit too smooth for me to get a good handle on it.
Yeah, usually I'm knocking down shots easily, but in gym class, I don't know. Something's up. I think.
Yeah, definitely have not whiffed on some drives.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get better.
Yeah.
And it's just an adjustment period, but the LED court that they had for the Celebrity All-Star Game looked pretty good. Mm-hmm. They had the dunk contest, which was pretty bad, or at least Jaylen Brown, who somehow made it way farther than he should have, looked pretty bad, but he used his left hand to dunk a basketball.
Another case of a Celtic getting there when they shouldn't have.
Oh, nice. Well, the Heat.
I'm just saying. What he dunked on Kai Cenat, and he's kind of like a midget or something.
Yeah,
He was sitting
took
down.
The shortest person and told him to sit down, but it's all right. The Heat, if we want to talk about that, are still clinging on to playoff hopes. They're the 8th seed, and that's where they reside right now. 13.5 games back of who, Tim?
The Frottics.
Oh, what? The Celtics? Yeah. Celtics 46-12, 9-1 in their last 10. Best team in the league by a pretty wide margin at this point. In the West, the Timberwolves are 42-17 and leading the West. This Western Conference does not really look like I would expect it to. Maybe I don't know ball, but the Timberwolves, Thunder, and Nuggets being your top 3 currently in the West Conference, with the Lakers, Warriors in the 9 and 10 slot. I don't know. Still some season left. We're past the All-Star break from Indianapolis, but interesting to see how this season will wind down.
Yeah, to talk about the Miami Heat once again, I'm not too worried about them. They're always going to find a way to get it done, and I'm not worried. Last year we were the 8th seed. Look what happened. Got to the finals, unfortunately lost, but we made it.
Yeah, well, the Celtics were gracious enough to take the first 3 games off of that series.
Yep.
But
I mean,
that won't happen again.
We let them jog a little comeback, and then we showed them who's really at the top of the East, Jimmy Butler. So
Jimmy Butler watching from his couch, along with a couple of friends over there in Miami. I mean, what's up with this aggression from Miami? Seem a little frustrated out there pulling these suspensions, Tim.
I mean, I wouldn't call it aggressive. I'd call it more of the love for the game of basketball, Chaz. I mean,
well, their passionate play earned them a nice suspension.
Yeah, their passionate play earned them an unneeded suspension, which either way was like a back-to-back. Jimmy Butler got some well-needed rest time and some well-needed fun time with Nikola Jovic at a watch party, making light of the situation, which I love about Jimmy Butler, who was also featured in a Fall Out Boy video as his emo self. I think I can pull that up right now. And it was certainly a watch. Obviously, we can't play the song in fear of our podcast just being taken down. So, but watch it. It's on X. It's on YouTube. Probably at the Fall Out Boy video, or was it Panic at the Disco?
Well,
Yeah, Fall Out Boy. So, it was a good video. Good video.
yeah, well, let's circle back to the Cranston East sports because there is a big topic that went down. We talked about it prior on the program, and we've got some solid news now. We were predicting in last episode that Stanley Dunbar might be the option or the choice for Cranston East coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
And after looking at Facebook, it seems like Dunbar was not going to take that job. And we now know who the new coach of the Cranston East football team is. It's going to be Jimmy Cook. He was with Pontiac. He's with other teams. He's made the playoffs every year since 2014 and was in the Super Bowl with multiple schools during his tenure. He looks like he's hoping to come into this program and turn it around fast.
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy Cook was kind of, and by the way, was he named after the Drake song, Jazz?
I think
Or
he
was
came
it-
before the Drake song.
Huh, that's interesting. Some people also call him James Cook, so I guess we got the Bills running back, too, as a head coach. But yeah, Jimmy Cook, a little bit of controversy, but mostly unfounded claims, kind of, sort of thing. I'd like to hire. He's gonna be a good guy to go around here. Hopefully he does it with, the talent. I read an article earlier. Seemed to really connect with the community, just like, put the community all into one place. Hopefully he does that here with Cranston East, which, has a very strong, very great community. I mean, we got 1,600 kids here wanting to see, our teams winning, and this is step one right here. Next step is to, again, like I said about, Dunbar, just motivate your guys and tell them to stick with the process and, just stick with the mentality. We're going to win.
Yeah, I heard that they're already implementing the playbook, already coaching up and learning the new offense and defense that Cranston East will bring to the table in next year's matchups. Dropping a division, there's a good chance that Cranston East could get something done. It seems like stars are somewhat aligning for a turnaround in the program and maybe a return to their winning ways that passed us by, it seems, or it doesn't seem. They passed us by. We missed it.
We missed. We missed basically all of it.
We got one.
Yeah, one, and
one senior night win, and hey, one is better than none. So that's exciting. And going to jump back now to the students versus teachers game. We had some TSM representation in there, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they did gobbledygook.
Junior was out there chucking bricks. Larry started off hot and then disappeared for the rest of the game. And wow, I'm disappointed in Junior. I expected much more out of him. I've seen what he can do, and what he did that day was not what he can do. Larry, you heard post game after, didn't even guard up on Mr. Smith. Apparently, somebody else wanted to guard him more, and you saw how that ended up. Smith ended with 6 points. Eli Itkin, a new member of the roster with 17, I believe he had 15, and Jose Rico had 17.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rico-Itkin combo was killer for the teachers, and that might be a dynasty to just continue to rule the student versus teachers game forever.
Yeah, if they stay here, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem like we have a chance for the next couple of years until we can get an actual good basketball player, as part of our student roster.
I heard that Itkin had offers to play overseas basketball, and he passed them up, but Now he is showing off his skills here.
Yeah, showing off.
Both of them could dunk, so.
Yeah, showing off the skills to, these young children and embarrassing them and tarnishing their futures and, setting a bad precedent for graduating seniors. Was it self-inflicted on the students? Maybe. But we're not going to get into the ifs and whats or, as you say, Chaz, the nuts and bolts of it. But yeah, Mr. Smith especially was embarrassing people on defense. I mean, you saw the Eston Fowler look on the attempted layup got absolutely gobsmacked by Mr. Smith.
Yep.
Obviously there.
Definitely some big blocks coming down the court, making impacts.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great game, an entertaining one, but not the result for the students, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look like it, but we're talking about our sports. We're talking about professional sports. We got some sports starting, some sports ending. The main sport starting up, of course, is the MLB, which brings into question what will Tim be able to talk about once MLB is the only sport that's on. He won't have to deal with it for too long, but it's going to be interesting to find out. The spring training is starting up, and the pants are as see-through as ever.
Yeah. I saw one of the pictures on X, formerly known as Twitter, on the Fanatics pants, and they were not pretty. You could see stuff through them, Chaz. I mean, they were definitely objects that are part of the human male body that you could look at.
Seems like most hitters are starting 2-0 that's in their at-bats, if you follow what I'm trying to say.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely going to – this is definitely the end of the podcast, everyone.
What? What's wrong with that?
We're going to get demonetized.
It's a 2-0 count.
We're going to get – we're going to get blocked, like Mr. Smith does. So we apologize in advance if we do get any comments on that.
Well, Tim's idea for when the MLB is the only thing on is to cover the NFL draft extensively.
The NFL draft, and there's still NBA basketball, during that time, Chaz. We're here until May. I mean, playoff. I mean, the NBA is still going on. So I'm not too worried, Chaz. I'm not too worried at all.
We heard some news about the Patriots in the NFL draft, maybe leaning quarterback, and that for Bill Belichick, he was big on Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, not only drafting a quarterback, but finding a veteran QB to be the bridge. I've heard Joe Flacco is one of the options to, be a part of the potential process of mentoring whoever the Patriots draft at 3. And then, Flacco leaving out to somewhere else. If he plays good, he plays good. If he plays horrible, I mean, we're all going to be chanting to start the rookie.
Well, personally, I, in an ideal world, recommend going with Tom Brady. But I understand that might not be an option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be the best one, though. Even in his old age, I saw he was planning on running a 40-yard dash. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
There's also a quarterback out there who's been in the headlines, who is available to pick up, Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be putting in the work, getting his hands right for maybe a starting job, Tim.
Yeah, maybe getting his hands right for, defending himself against what appears to be, some sort of like an attack on Newton. It had to be separated by the, security and whatnot. A couple of guys ran up to the stage and I guess started whacking at him. Cam was able to survive the onslaught, even keep his hat on.
He is a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, I mean he's been through the works as an NFL quarterback. I mean, he was running away. He was running, from 300-pound guys for a reason.
Yeah, Newton rolled out of the pocket, evaded the blitzers, and then
even did
came back with a little left jab, right hook action, and got it done. So
you're going to be talking about that on Funky Friday.
Standing on business in his own 7-on-7 football camp. And Tim, I know that you were going down the rabbit hole of podcasts.
Yeah.
and you fell upon the Nightcap podcast hosted by Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp. I've seen clips from it, and Shannon Sharp is kind of tweaking on it. I don't know what he's saying on this podcast, and I don't know how it's being aired, but I know you also were able to find your way. What were your thoughts about the Nightcap podcast?
Yeah, so let me just explain first how I got into, this whole. I mean, I was playing Civ with some of my friends from Providence. It's one of those games where I'm staying up until 2 a.m. to, just get some more progress done because it's it's an easy game to, maneuver with, but, hard to be good at. So, and it's also addicting. So that's how I got there. I was just tired of listening to music all day. Just wanted a little bit of some guys talking. And that's how I ended up with, listening to some podcasts from all over, mainly sports. But then I got to Nightcap, and, it was going pretty good so far until they were talking about how, there was like this fact or whatever that, couples have, or married couples have happy relationships when they're, publicly farting, I guess. And then they got into like a 10 to 15 minute, I don't even know if it might have been more than 15 minutes, a conversation about whether that's disgusting or just, or a good thing for people to do. And I was just flabbergasted, like the entire segment of the podcast, for the entire segment of that podcast, and it was certainly interesting. I don't have an opinion on it. I mean, maybe you watching at home has an opinion. Does farting, maybe you're married. Yeah, married couples, answer me this: does farting in public next to each other have
where is this episode going?
More positive effect on relationship statuses? Please let me know in the comments or through responses or through anything.
All right, so I think we're going to have to make sure that there's no availability for you to respond to that question. I don't know what's been going on.
Yeah, it's going to be the Q&A down below. After you smash that like button, you go to the Q&A section and say, married couples. Is your relationship happier if you guys fart next to each other?
Jesus. Tim, I have a question for you.
Yeah?
Did you ever consider listening to Thunderbolt Sports Talk?
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a couple of seconds of it.
Oh, wow. Really? Nice. You just wanted to hear that intro again before moving on to Ocho and Shannon Sharp?
I listened to the latest episode, or then latest episode, which was, the 2 weeks prior. And then I got tired of listening to my voice. So.
Oh, nice. Well, we always talk about it. The ELA class that takes place right after this one with the star or one of the stars of the student versus faculty game, Mr. Smith. And, over vacation, it was a good reset point, a good time to relax and
or write an essay.
Yep. Or write an essay, Somebody's going to do it every year. There's going to be somebody assigning the essay over vacation, the project over vacation. But you don't expect it to be Mr. Smith. And, geez. I mean, I think everyone got it done for the most part. But
yeah. Hopefully everyone got it done in a positive manner. And also would be the nice time to bring it back a little bit. And would love to, pull open an investigation on the true baldness of Mr. Smith. Maybe it's just a bald cap to gain an unfair advantage towards the teacher side.
Wow. Pulling the bald
Mr. Smith, I'm watching you. I'm watching your steps. And, that Eston Fowler block was, really, 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 really skillful there. It was like it's almost like if Eston was blinded by the sheer baldness of Mr. Smith, like Caden Holton was last year. So we're gonna have to make an order for some hair growth spray for next year.
Well, I did not expect that one out of you, but Lord of the Flies, persuasive essay. There were 5 prompts to choose from, or if the 5th being choose a topic, and went with the first one. Seemed like the easiest one. I think a lot of people did because it required the least amount of quotes. I think I pretty much got to 4 quotes. We required 3, but I'm an overachiever. Or there were 6 paragraphs.
So you did the same work as the second prop that I chose, which was who'd make the best leader on the island, which I said Jack, because everyone else there is a horrible, horrible person that does not deserve any leadership skills.
Well, we saw how Jack led, and he killed multiple people, but...
But he kept things under control, though.
They were not surviving with him.
What do you mean?
Seems like a bad call out of you.
They were happy. They were having fun. They might have killed a person, maybe 2, but in the end of the day, he was keeping them under control. And, with Ralph, he was kind of on a road to basically nowhere until it was Jack that was like, hey, let's burn the forest to make sure that there's a ship there. And it might have been accidental.
Okay, yeah.
But it's better than the little midget fire that, Ralph tried to create, which was then ignored by Jack's people because Ralph did not have any macho in him. He did not have any sort of, authoritative control. And he never showed that, Chaz. He never showed that. He was yelling and, being a little whiny baby about it, but he never really laid down the work or stood on business.
All right. Well, I think I might have to go with Simon. He's connected with the spirits above, and that could help him. He was talking to the Lord of the Flies. No one else got to talk to the Lord of the Flies, but he did.
I think it was more psychedelics than, connecting with nature, Chaz.
We know a lot of leaders in history who have been crazy, and sometimes they're the best leaders. So, I don't know. I think it's an all right.
Can you name an example?
I probably shouldn't. And also we watched the Castaway movie, the film that stars Tom Hanks, and it was a good one. Its conclusion drew up some drama in how he came back after being supposedly dead for years, and his wife moved on. People say it was quick. People are doing the math, saying, how did she get pregnant and have a kid already? It must have been a quick move on, and there's getting a lot of heat on his former significant other.
4 years?
Yeah, it was 4 years, but
4 years.
If our producer Ashton was here, he could tell it better, but he's not. But he was saying, you got to grieve, you got to hold out hope, and then you got to grieve the loss, and then you got to move on, and then have a kid. It doesn't add up. He thinks that they're not loyal, and, he might be right, but it's all right. Castaway was a good film.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I guess, I enjoyed it too. I watched it previously before. We watched, Castaway in class. Good movie. Anything with Tom Hanks, like I said, fantastic movie. And we can also say that Castaway is allowed to be talked on Thunderbolt Sports Talk because they had a little football reference at the end. The Tennessee Titans.
They also had a volleyball.
Yeah. Wilson.
Gruesome hair. Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good volleyball.
Yeah, it seemed that Tom Hanks really left behind, the wife quickly.
Yeah, well, we can see that he repurchased the volleyball at the end of the film and the wings and all of everything. He was at a crossroads. And, so it was pretty good time in Mr. Smith's class. We missed Wednesday's class, but on Monday we started to really tighten up the plans for the research project and got our theses in early, did well on those.
Yeah.
Glad everyone is very keenly interested in our grades.
I think we were the only ones. We might have been one of the few that actually got like a 25 out of 25. You got the true 25 out of 25. I got the
25 with asterisk.
Yeah, the 25, but it was a little bit too yapperish.
Well, sometimes it's what comes to you first. You take time to think about it. Maybe you'll stray from the path. Who knows? We did it well. And why we weren't in class Wednesday was to visit the University of Rhode Island for a communications-specific tour, or at least a day of activities to better understand what URI has to offer. And it's looking like a pretty good option. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say anything until, I make my decision up fully. But, yeah, it was good showing from URI. Me and you both wished that we could have seen a little bit more especially
the weather wasn't really cooperating, or it would have been maybe a no-brainer to just go over and walk there, but a rainy day.
Yeah, try to
get into the rec center. Yeah,
then,
couldn't find a door. Found the door after it was
yeah.
too much. We walked around the whole building, but too soaked to go in. And I don't know what was on the other side. I don't know. Maybe there was a key card and only I could have got in and not you. But we never got that far. They have a lot of things to offer. I heard they broadcast on ESPN Plus. Well, I knew that, but I didn't know for sure that it was students doing it. I checked their latest basketball game that actually happened the day that we were there. 2 juniors on the call. And, it's probably more people in the booth and in the production area, that they have a nice facility, a brand new, since 2019 facility built to support that. And, yeah, it looks great. It looks like a very intriguing option at this point. And I think we can move on now to our final topic of the day.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, I have to say it as hugest shout-outs to, our URI guys. The guys that attended URI or are currently attending URI from the Fans of Elite Sports Network, Tim Duffy, the
Matt
dog.
Vucinos.
Yeah, Matt Vucinos, Matt AV, worked with him for Holy Cross versus, I believe, UMass. And that was fun to work with him. Told me that I had to actually power on the Jackery, so.
What?
I saw I pressed the right button. I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't.
First time. First time, huh?
Yeah, first time using the Jackery. A little bit confused, but
All right. Well, at least you got there eventually.
Yeah.
And speaking of Fans Only Sports, broadcasting the RIL Division I Boys Ice Hockey full regular season, and that coverage didn't stop there. We've got the preliminary games all done and finished. Quarterfinals start today in the prelims. Pilgrim took on Moses Brown and had a seemingly easy road to victory, but it got a little shaky at the end. They held on for a pretty solid win. And the big thing was in the other side, where East Greenwich Tollgate, a brand new co-op, somehow in the playoffs with 2 wins on the year, took on the 8-8 Mount St. Charles Mounties in their final year in the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. After winning about 900 championships in hockey, 30 in a row or something crazy. They beat Mount St. Charles. So EGTG beats Mount St. Charles 4-2 and moves on to the quarterfinals. And that's where it comes to the playoff format for this league is absolutely bonkers. I don't know what we're doing.
Listen, I don't know what's up to the playoff format. I mean, it could have been just like, how many teams are there?
There's 10 teams.
And 5 in each division?
I don't even know, how it's separated. All I know is only 2 teams didn't make the playoffs. That was Cumberland and North Kingstown.
If you might as well just have everyone in the playoffs at that point. D2, it's like everyone is in there. Everyone's in the D2 playoffs too.
Seems like a lot of these RIL playoffs are just nearly every team in it. Like, what's the point of the regular season? I'm about to just sit my team, have them play some games somewhere else or something.
The bare minimum for the first 3 games, hopefully.
Playing load management until we make it into the play-in. You could, some of these teams like Prout lost 1 game this year. Hendricken lost 1 game this year. The Crusaders are the 1 seed due to the Prout versus Hendricken matchup with Prout winning, but Prout could have won 4 games and still be in the same spot.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same opponent, but, come on.
Yeah, I thought, me personally, I thought that, the workload would have been, too much, because they have 5 games going on tonight or whatever.
Yep.
And I thought it would be the top 3 teams from each division get in, the top 1 from, both sides get a little bye. And then it's up to, the 2 teams. I assume it's is it like a series? It's best of...
the quarterfinals is a best of 3. So
you get 2 wins and you advance.
Then the semifinals is 1 game, and finals is 1 game after a play-in 1-game series. So interesting format. I don't know what they're doing.
Interesting.
They play back-to-back if necessary, or I think they might play Game 3 on a Monday. I don't know if they're going to go on a Sunday. So Right now, East Greenwich Tollgate takes on Bishop Hendricken, with Bishop Hendricken being the higher-seeded team. I'll be on the call tonight for that game.
You know what? I guess, you know what? I'm going to root for EGTG to win it all
It'd
this year.
be
Why not?
a Titanic upset.
Why,
It would be
why not?
straight up Furnham beating Virginia in March Madness, which is coming up soon, and it's exciting. We'll get more coverage going into that when it comes closer into view, but it is March, so of course March Madness is right around the corner. Smithfield takes on LaSalle. Both of these teams play in the same venue, so no movement for home versus away besides benches for that one. LaSalle is the number 3 seed with, I believe, 2 losses on the year. One to Prout, one to Hendricken, another one to Hendricken in non-league play. But should be a good matchup there. Have the great George Bannister on the call for those.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of championships also. PFC, the divisional championships or the D1 championship for the basketball at least. Boys basketball gonna be at the AMP, so that's gonna be a huge environment to play in. Schneider Arena.
Great venue.
I mean, we've both been there a couple of times. We've enjoyed it a lot.
Yep.
There's a little bit, not too much going on, in terms of, on the inside, but, still a great place to watch some hockey.
And then the final 2 quarterfinal matchups are Burrville versus Barrington, your 4 and 5 seeds. They are 1 game separated in the standings. Burrville has one of the best rinks in the state, in my opinion. It's pretty far from us, but Levy Rink over in Burrville is a great place. And Barrington has one of the worst rinks. They play at Portsmouth Abbey, which is a prep school, but seemingly, which we seem to learn during our fall time doing peak performance prep hockey, all these prep schools, besides Mount St. Charles apparently, just keep their rinks freezing cold and not much room to broadcast. So you're going to have to go up a ladder in Portsmouth Abbey to get on top of the scorer's box, and you're going to have to pass all the equipment back and forth. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely wait. I wish I wasn't on that game, but I will be doing that game on Saturday at Portsmouth Abbey because Barrington plays there. They're the lower seed. That's their home game. All right, moving on. Prout versus Pilgrim, the 1 versus the 8. Pilgrim, of course, won that play-in versus Moses Brown. They play at URI today. And then tomorrow they'll play at Thayer Rink right in Warwick, Rhode Island. I'll be there as well. So it's going to be a busy day Saturday. Get a good day off Sunday. Go down to the Cape with the family. But that's your Division I boys ice hockey update. Maybe the most in-depth we've gone all season. And, yeah, pretty solid slate of games. I know Tim will be busy over at Cranston East.
Or here.
Yep.
Or over at the gym. Weird choice of grammar. I'm going to have to Mr. Smith is going to have to listen to that. So we apologize, Mr. Smith, in advance.
Wow.
So
I just talked for a long time in a row with not much breath and had to let out a cough there. Sorry, but that was taking a while.
Yeah. Hopefully you're all right, Chaz. I know the hockey climates that you've been, accustomed to are kind of difficult here in a warm green room like this.
Yeah,
Mr. LeBanca's.
Looking forward to baseball season. We're going to get some good graphics going up for that and hopefully have the best presentation possible that VMEX allows for.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to use them for half the spring season. So that's fun.
Oh, yeah. Another question mark with the program is Tim Yeen abandoning us for pretty much the entire month of April. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Maybe I can bring on some guest hosts who actually know something about baseball. We might just have to let Ashton talk.
If your producer comes in on time.
But, yeah, that's a little shaky because he doesn't show up. Ashton, if you hear this, do better. All right. Tim, sign us off. Episode number 5 of Season 2 in the books. We got a new head coach at Cranston East. Got some Division I playoffs in boys ice hockey. We got some playoffs in esports. We got some news in baseball. Couple of nuts and a couple of bolts. Tim, sign us off.
Yeah, Alan Chen is a better word on, and hard work works.
Interesting.